The year was 1721. The clamour of the courtroom filled the air. Before the stern faces of the judges stood a woman named Mary Read. She had been captured, tried, and found guilty of piracy, a crime punishable by death. But Mary's story was far more complex than met the eye. It was a tale that would unravel a secret she had guarded for years. Mary Read had lived most of her life disguised as a man. How had she managed to deceive everyone around her? What drove her to such extreme measures? These were questions that echoed through the minds of those present at her trial. Mary Read's life was a tapestry woven from threads of adventure, deception, and ultimately, tragedy. From a young age, Mary Read found herself navigating a world that offered limited opportunities for women. Born in England in the late 17th century, she entered a society bound by rigid social norms. Women were expected to conform, to marry, and to live a life confined to the domestic sphere. But Mary was different. She yearned for a life beyond these constraints, a life of freedom and adventure. To break free from the shackles of societal expectations, Mary made a daring decision. She chose to conceal her true identity and live as a man. Donning men's clothing, adopting a masculine name, and embracing a life of danger, she embarked on a path that would forever alter the course of her destiny. Mary Read's story is a captivating enigma. How did she manage to maintain her disguise for so long? What challenges did she face in a world dominated by men? And what led her to the life of a pirate, sailing the high seas with notorious figures like Anne Bonny? These are just a few of the questions we will explore as we delve into the extraordinary life of Mary Read. Join us as we set sail on a journey through time, uncovering the truth behind the woman who dared to live a life on her own terms, a life beyond the boundaries of her time. The remarkable tale of Mary Read, the woman who lived as a man. Mary Read's life was marked by unconventional circumstances from the very beginning. Born in England in the late 17th century, she was shrouded in a veil of secrecy. Her mother, a woman who had already lost a husband, found herself pregnant with Mary out of wedlock. To protect her reputation and secure her young daughter's future, she made a difficult choice. She would raise Mary as a boy. This decision, born out of necessity, would profoundly shape Mary's life. Dressed in boy's clothing, she was introduced to the world as Mark, her deceased half-brother. The charade, intended to provide a semblance of normalcy, instead thrust Mary into a life of constant disguise. She grew accustomed to the weight of this secret, the knowledge that her true identity was a carefully guarded truth, hidden from the world. As Mary grew older, the lines between her assumed identity and her true self blurred. The world knew her as Mark, a young man navigating the challenges of life in 17th-century England. She excelled in tasks typically reserved for boys, displaying a physical strength and resilience that belied her true gender. Yet, beneath the surface, Mary grappled with the complexities of her dual existence. The weight of her secret became a constant companion, a burden she carried with every step. The fear of discovery, the longing for authenticity, and the societal constraints that confined women of her time created a complex internal struggle. Mary's spirit, however, yearned for more than the limited opportunities afforded by her assumed identity. As Mary transitioned into adulthood, the allure of the open sea beckoned. The vastness of the ocean, the promise of adventure, and the chance to escape the confines of her carefully constructed life proved irresistible. In an era when maritime trade flourished, the sea represented a path to freedom, a world where traditional societal norms were tested by the unforgiving nature of the elements. Driven by a thirst for something more, Mary embraced the life of a sailor. She honed her skills aboard merchant ships, working alongside rough-and-tumble crews, proving her mettle in the face of challenging conditions. The sea became her sanctuary, a place where the lines between identities blurred and the strength of her spirit shone through. Life at sea was demanding for even the most hardened sailor. For Mary, living a double life, the challenges were magnified. She had to maintain her disguise with unwavering vigilance, The cramped quarters, the lack of privacy, the constant scrutiny of her shipmates all posed potential threats to her secret. Yet she persevered. The rhythm of the sea, the camaraderie of her fellow sailors, the thrill of adventure, these fueled her spirit. Mary proved herself a capable hand, mastering the skills required of a sailor. She climbed the rigging, hauled ropes, and weathered storms with a fortitude that earned her respect. Fate, however, had other plans for Mary Read. While sailing the Caribbean, her merchant ship fell prey to pirates. The world of trade and commerce she knew was about to be upended by the lawless realm of piracy. This encounter, which could have spelled doom, became a turning point in her life. Instead of resisting, Mary did something unexpected. She chose to join the pirates. Perhaps she was drawn to their life of freedom, their disregard for societal rules that mirrored her own. Or maybe she saw an opportunity to embrace a life even more unconventional, more liberating than the one she had carefully constructed. Life aboard a pirate ship was a far cry from the disciplined world of the merchant navy. Gone were the rigid hierarchies and codes of conduct. Pirate ships were governed by a different set of rules, a volatile mix of camaraderie, ambition, and ruthlessness. Mary, now a full-fledged member of a pirate crew, adapted quickly to this new reality. She embraced the pirate way, participating in raids, sword fights, and the spoils of their conquests. Her past experiences had hardened her, honed her survival instincts. She fought with a ferocity that surprised her opponents, her secret identity shielded by the chaos of battle. One day, fate dealt Mary an unexpected hand. The pirate captain who had captured her ship became smitten with a young sailor, unaware of the sailor's true identity. This sailor was none other than Mary Read. Bound by a sense of loyalty to her captain and fearful of exposure, Mary found herself in a quandary. The situation took another turn when the captain became embroiled in a duel to defend the honor of the object of his affection, our Mary Read. The opponent was a skilled swordsman, and the captain, though courageous, was outmatched. It was in this moment of crisis that Mary's true nature would be revealed, forever altering the course of her life on the high seas. The tension crackled in the air, thick as the humid Caribbean heat. The pirate captain, Mary's misguided admirer, struggled against his opponent, his blade flashing desperately in the waning afternoon sun. Mary, torn between her loyalty and her secret, knew she could no longer remain a silent observer. With a swiftness born of desperation, she stepped between the duelists, deflecting a blow that would have surely cleaved the captain in two. The clash of steel echoed across the deck as Mary, now a warrior unveiled, disarmed the captain's attacker. A collective gasp arose from the assembled pirates, their eyes wide with disbelief. Mary Read, their stalwart shipmate, stood revealed as a woman. Amidst the stunned silence, a voice rang out, laced with amusement rather than shock. It belonged to Anne Bonny, the captain's fiery mistress and the most feared pirate on the ship. Anne, who had long suspected Mary's secret, recognized a kindred spirit in the woman who stood before them, sword still drawn, her chest heaving from the exertion of the fight. It was the beginning of a legendary friendship. Anne Bonny, a formidable figure in her own right, embraced Mary as a confidant, a sister-in-arms in the brutal world they inhabited. Where others saw deception, Anne saw strength and audacity. She admired Mary's courage, her ability to not only survive but thrive in a world that sought to confine women to the shadows. Together they were a force to be reckoned with. Anne, with her fiery temper and sharp tongue, and Mary, cool-headed and quick-witted, became a formidable duo, leading raids, outwitting rivals, and amassing a treasure trove of tales that would echo through pirate lore for centuries to come. Their bond extended beyond the battlefield. In the confines of their ship, amidst the rough-hewn camaraderie of their fellow pirates, Anne and Mary found solace in their shared secret, their understanding of the unique challenges they faced as women who dared to defy societal expectations. Their legend grew with each passing adventure. Tales of their exploits spread like wildfire across the Caribbean, striking fear into the hearts of seasoned captains and corrupt officials alike. They became symbols of defiance, challenging the very notion of what it meant to be a pirate in an era dominated by men. Their victories, however, were often tinged with sorrow. The life of a pirate was fraught with danger, a constant dance with death. They witnessed the loss of comrades, the brutality of their chosen profession, and the ever-present threat of capture and the hangman's noose. Through it all, their bond remained unbreakable. They fought side by side, protecting each other, their friendship a beacon of light amidst the darkness of their world. They understood the weight of each other's burdens, the sacrifices they'd made, the dreams they held on to. Section 4. Doubts and Discoveries, the Shifting Sands of Trust. However, their shared journey was not without its trials. Life aboard a pirate ship was unpredictable, alliances constantly shifting like the sands beneath their feet. Rumors and suspicions ran rampant, eroding the fragile trust that held their motley crew together. One such rumor threatened to shatter the fragile peace. Word began to spread of a traitor in their midst, a snake in the grass whispering secrets to their enemies. The finger of suspicion fell on Calico Jack Rackham, Anne's lover and the captain of their ship. Mary, ever cautious and observant, began to notice a change in Anne's demeanor. The spark of joy seemed to have dimmed in her eyes, replaced by a shadow of doubt. Mary, determined to protect her friend and their way of life, vowed to uncover the truth, unaware that her quest for answers would lead her to a heart-wrenching discovery, one that would test the very foundation of their friendship. Section 1. The Unraveling. Mary Read's instincts proved tragically accurate. Calico Jack Rackham, more enamored with the comforts of piracy than its perilous reality, had indeed been secretly negotiating with authorities, promising to deliver his formidable female crewmates in exchange for a pardon. The news struck Mary and Anne like a physical blow. The betrayal cut deep, especially for Anne, whose affections for Rackham had blinded her to his true nature. Their world, once defined by thrilling risks and unshakable loyalty, crumbled around them. Rackham's cowardice had doomed them all. When authorities finally closed in on their ship, it was Mary Read and Anne Bonny who rallied their disheartened crew, their swords flashing with a righteous fury that belied the odds stacked against them. But even their combined might couldn't hold off the inevitable. They fought fiercely, their cries of defiance echoing across the water, a testament to their indomitable spirits. Yet, outnumbered and betrayed, they were eventually subdued and captured, their reign of terror brought to an abrupt end. Section 2. A Legacy Forged in Defiance. The capture of Mary Read and Anne Bonny sent shockwaves through the Caribbean. Newspapers printed sensationalized accounts of their exploits, solidifying their status as legends. Even in captivity, they remained defiant, refusing to conform to the expectations of their captors. Their trial became a public spectacle. The courtroom overflowed with curious onlookers, eager to catch a glimpse of the notorious women who had dared to challenge the established order. Both women were sentenced to death, their crimes deemed too audacious, their defiance too dangerous to be tolerated by a society determined to keep women firmly in their prescribed roles. However, a twist of fate, perhaps a testament to their enduring strength, granted them a temporary reprieve. Both women were pregnant. English law, even in its harshness, offered a degree of mercy to expectant mothers, delaying their executions. Anne Bonny, through unknown means, vanished from historical records after this point. Whether she escaped or met a quieter end remains a mystery. Section 3. Echoes of Courage on the High Seas. Mary Read's fate, however, was tragically sealed. Weakened by the harsh conditions of prison life, she succumbed to fever, her body finally surrendering to the relentless grip of illness. She breathed her last breath within the confines of her cell, her spirit finally free from the shackles that had bound her in life. Mary Read's story, though cut short, became a beacon of courage and defiance that resonated long after her passing. In a world determined to limit women's roles, she dared to break free, choosing a life of adventure, camaraderie, and danger. Her legend, passed down through whispers and tales, served as a reminder that the human spirit, regardless of gender, yearns for freedom, for agency, and for the opportunity to chart one's own course. Mary Read's story stands as a testament to the power of defying expectations, embracing one's own truth, and living a life defined by courage, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Her memory lives on, an inspiration to those who dare to dream of a world where the boundaries of gender do not confine the vast potential of the human spirit.